Now you have your top 3 product opportunities, you will need to delve a little deeper into finding suppliers who manufacture these products. Now, to begin with, it's usually worth trying to find a supplier in the country where you're going to be selling. In this instance, it's likely going to be the USA. And the reason why it's easier for shipping, easier for communication reasons, there are advantages. The only advantage, or disadvantage rather, will be the price. It really depends on the product, and maybe, I know a lot of people who sell products on Amazon which are made in the USA. It's also good as a sort of a marketing angle to say that the product is USA made if you're selling to people living in the USA. It does make a difference to conversions. However, the reality is you will most likely have to go to China or the Far East to find your product and your supplier, your manufacturer. So let's go back to Alibaba, and again go do a search for yoga blocks, which was the example we were using in a previous video. Now what you'll need to do is, after searching for yoga blocks, is to filter down by trade assurance, gold supplier. So you only want gold suppliers. You only want to see suppliers that have had an on-site check. So Alibaba has actually been to them and have also been assessed by a third party. So you just want to make sure you're only dealing with people who have, are top suppliers, because there's always, I've been dealing with Alibaba and Chinese suppliers for a long time. I've never ever had any problem. But you just want to make sure you're only dealing with the most responsive and the most professional suppliers. So after you've done that, after you've filtered down, you can see now that some of the products that were listed there previously have now disappeared. So the next thing you'll need to look at the response rate of the supplier. So you do want to make sure that you're dealing with a supplier who gets back to you and gets back to you quickly. If you're waiting for days for a reply, or it's not ideal, especially if you need to do a reorder or you just want to find out more information. You want people who are responsive and who are actually set up properly in order to deal with customer inquiries. Now, again, I've been dealing with a lot of manufacturers in China, and I've never ever had a problem, touch wood, with any of them. Some can be difficult. The language barrier can be challenging sometimes, but in most cases you won't find it difficult at all, even though dealing with suppliers from a different country may seem a little daunting to begin with. So 85% response rate here, so that's a pretty good response rate. 67%, again 85%. So these suppliers look pretty good. The minimum order is quite low, 100 pieces, 300 pieces, 100 pieces. You want to keep your initial inventory order as low as possible and to put down the least amount of money as possible to have the least amount of risk possible to begin with. And so just looking at these suppliers here, I'm not going to look too carefully at what the product is that they're selling. I'm really just going to concentrate on the type of suppliers you should be looking at. You need to look further down the page just to have a look at the other types of products that they sell, the details on their factory, just to sort of make sure that it's properly set up. You can usually get an indication by looking at the factory photos, and of course this is all sort of regulated by Alibaba, so in most cases is going to be factual, and if they've had an on-site inspection, this is the reality. So this supplier looks pretty good. They produce yoga blocks, they produce yoga mats. They look like a proper supplier. So based on this, I would contact them and just to basically confirm about minimum orders. If I wanted my brand name put on, can I order samples? Just to sort of feel them out a little bit, just to see whether they're going to be easy or difficult to deal with. In this manual here, I've written a sample email which basically details the questions you should be asking. For instance, you need to ask about packaging, whether they do the packaging for a particular product, and if not, do they know someone who does, whether they are able to send samples, and you also need to confirm on the minimum order as well, and just to check that it is what it says it is on the website. So you just basically just want to ask them these questions just to sort of find out just a little bit more about them. And then once you've done this, once you get responses, then you can move forward. But again, you haven't decided on your actual product quite yet. You've got your top 3 product opportunities that you're still looking into, and based on the feedback you get from suppliers, and how the minimum orders and the amount of inventory that you'll need to buy in the first place, these are all deciding factors when you actually come to choose the product you're going to move ahead with. So that's it for this video. You just need to search through suppliers, contact them, see what they how they respond to you, and then we can move on to the next section.